podcast is intended for mature audiences. The views and opinions expressed are those of the panelists and do not reflect in any way those of the podcast partners, sponsors, or affiliates. Enjoy.
ThaBoxingVoice.com.
You need that fear.
All I'm trying to do is make a stand for something that I truly believe is right. I truly believe is right. I want to be like you. Come on, man. I'm the face of boxing. I'm the cash cow. I hold the record with you.
My drop, I know my drop, I know my situation. I want to fight.
That's my production.
But it's going to be very difficult for both of us.
ThaBoxingVoice.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another flagship edition of the Boxing Voice. I'm your host, Nestor Gibbs, and we're here to talk this weekend's boxing. We had quite a bit of it on Golden Boy on Friday, as well as Top Rank on ESPN Saturday night, with tons of cards to fight about. A couple of headlines to touch on. Biggest news, Sergey Kovalev, the Crusher. You know he's become a champion again. Well, looks like Sir Marcus Browne, who is signed to Al Haymon, 2012 Olympian, and he's had a couple of step-ups thus far, will be taking on Sergey Kovalev. We'll bring you all the details later on. We also will be reviewing the Amir Imam loss at the hands of Jose Ramirez, becoming the new 140 WBC champion, as well as some Derek Chisora and Joe Joyce. Joe Joyce picked up a win yesterday and now is in talks to possibly be on the undercard of Anthony Joshua and Joseph Parker. Then we got Mick Conlan back in New York City on St. Patrick's Day. Michael, however you may know him, the infamous Olympian for flipping off the judges after feeling, I guess, done wrong in the outcome. And we'll also talk the Hipster hardcore favorite in the light heavyweight division. Didn't look too impressive yesterday, but we will discuss. I mean, they said it so many different names. I'll keep pronouncing the G that usually is silent when anyone else of intelligence pronounces his name. God check. We'll get back to all these topics later on. Remember, the number to call in is 1-425-569-5241. We'll be giving you details on this, and we would obviously like to bounce this one back and forth with our callers. So remember, you can always add Nestor Gibbs on Skype internationally. I'm going to head on over now to the Hipster.
ThaBoxingVoice production.
This is a beautiful performance against a very tough guy in Michael Johnson. How do you feel about it?
Fuck that. Conor McGregor.
ThaBoxingVoice.com.
You know me, Larry. From a wicked entrance, from a flip over the rock into a knockout man. When the main thing is, I just help the guy. I wish.
ThaBoxingVoice.com.
Yes, if it's here, haters beware. And Kovalev versus Marcus Browne may be one of the best fights in the light heavyweight division you can make, other than Badger Jack versus Adonis Stevenson. So I'm hyped, to say the least, that got at least, announced by Boxing Scene. Keith Idec reported that they've been hearing from their sources that's a done deal. Good to see Al Haymon and HBO working together. It's always nice to see. And plus, obviously, we have the Top Rank on ESPN card, which I think dominated the headlines in terms of fights, in terms of relevance for fights. Jose Ramirez put on a performance, whether it was good or bad, whether it was, whatever the nature of the performance we're obviously going to get into. Gvozdyk, I thought, looked pretty decent, though definitely did not look like a world beater or like the next guy in the division. And Michael Conlan getting that main event status, even though it was not the headlining card or a headlining fight, because obviously Jose Ramirez, Amir Imam got top billing. Mick Conlan was the main event. Mick Conlan was the last fight of the evening in a almost sold out crowd in the theater at MSG for St. Patty's Day. And I thought he shined again. I thought they're highlighting him again. I just see a future star in the making. Can't wait to delve into it. Can't wait to chop it up with you, Ness, and the callers.
Well, let's get on out to the big news. It's funny, man. I feel like I should be kicking myself. I was speaking to Marcus Browne, trainer, over the weekend, and I was invited to the gym Saturday, but it was at 11 o'clock in the morning, and I just couldn't make it there in time. And now with this news, I don't know if I should be kicking myself. Now, I will say Saturday was the day that Marcus was already in the building for MSG because our very own Adam Sperber was able to get an interview with Marcus. So we eventually got to speak to him, but this is a good matchup. I don't know how good it is for Kovalev, but I'm not sure either that Marcus is a given win due to we've seen certain things in the ring and his chin in the past. Now, Daniel Jacobs is a guy that's kind of made me not be quick to say anyone is chinny anymore, Matt, because when he stepped up to the biggest performance of his career, his chin really was an issue. Did he go down? Yeah, but I mean, he was right back up, and he seemed
guys like Badou Jack, Tony Bellew, like we have guys that we talk about at a high level now, that we respect at a high level now, that have been knocked out, that have been finished. Not everyone gets the Amir Khan sort of stigma for glass chin. Some guys can bounce back and look good. I think this could be that case, so to speak.
Now, what's interesting about this matchup is that before it was made official by many publications, Browne on his own Instagram had already put a picture of him in the middle, Kovalev and Arthur Beterbiev. Have you seen that?
So Kovalev and Beterbiev?
Yes.
And them fighting?
No, and Marcus was in the middle. Did you see? Do you follow him on Instagram? Do you stalk him on Instagram?
I did not see that. I'm sorry.
All right. So the caption was like, I don't pick. This is God-given strap season, right? So he obviously had two options because that was the rumor I had always been hearing, that he was either going to fight Beterbiev or go straight for Kovalev. Both were going to be title fights because Beterbiev is the IBF champion, correct?
Yes.
So do you think, and obviously this fight is official, but it is not. No, it's signed, but there's no venue. Now, there's two conflicting reports. I believe Boxing Scene is saying it's signed. Michael Compinger is saying that it's not signed. And Boxing Scene is saying that it is, but they need a venue. Regardless, we're close, Matt. That being said, do you prefer him to take on Kovalev, or would you have preferred Beterbiev?
No, Kovalev. Kovalev is the better fight. One, he's the more established guy in the division. Other than Adonis Stevenson, it's really Kovalev, now, and especially with Andre Ward, in his retirement, whatever that might be, it is Adonis Stevenson and Kovalev at the top of the division. And you have Badou Jack and Marcus Browne trying to break that top. I think Artur Beterbiev is sort of in the Bivol position where phenomenal talent, young champion, but he's not the guy yet. Kovalev is closer to the guy than Beterbiev is. And even though Kovalev has a loss, I also say that Kovalev's probably a bigger scalp on your resume going forward. Beating Kovalev, especially if you can knock him out, means something. Marcus Browne, a heavy hitter, a southpaw, the bigger man probably in the fight, in the ring on fight night. I can see Marcus Browne maybe getting a highlight reel knockout against Kovalev. That might be something that could jettison him over to the top of not stardom, but relevant.
Is Marcus ready at this point? I mean, we've seen the hiccup with Calorgio or something like that. Raj Jack, whatever, that he got dropped in the Barclays Center. But after that, he's been able to kind of tighten things up and I believe score a couple of knockouts. I'm gonna check that, but I think he's been able to kind of get things back in order after that 2016. I don't even know how to pronounce this guy's name. I don't know if we should get Jeffrey on it. I mean, we haven't seen him fight since this day.
Don't worry about this. But we know he knocked out Shawnee Monahan. We know he knocked out Top Dog Williams. I think he knocked out one other guy. I forget.
I just don't know that any of those guys prepare him. Like Monahan, you and I and any other hardcores knew what Monahan was. He was a tough journeyman, undefeated journeyman, but not BA level. You know, Kovalev is at the very least A level, you know, A minus, B plus level, depending how much of a hater you are. You know, I led with A, right? So Fancy Natutu, he's not on that level. And Top Dog, while it's a good name, it is a good name, it has an asterisk attached to it. Top Dog's been getting knocked out by everybody, or at least looking vulnerable by everybody, even in loss, because whoever didn't knock him out at least hurt him or wobbled him. And you know, I mean, we've heard guys like Earl Spence and Javonta in the past say, yo, like you're gonna always ask, you know, who has he beat to get this title shot? But you have to, the fighter has to have an opportunity, man.
2 points. We saw Andre Ward have some success fighting out of the southpaw position, and we haven't seen Kovalev fight a slick black fighter since that fight. Marcus Browne is those things. We've seen Marcus Browne improve. Marcus Browne is obviously in the prime of his career, I would say. And we've both seen Marcus Browne in the gym. We know that he has talent. We know he can use his length. We know he has power. So I think it could be catching Kovalev at the right time, and it could be Marcus Browne hitting that right time. You're right that we haven't seen him beat a level opponent of a Kovalev. We haven't. But when he does fight him, that may be the time that we do see it. That may be the first time we do see it. We may be banking on that. Similar to Eubanks Robes. That was a gamble to bet on the more younger, unproven talent. You know, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. It's the name of the game.
Marcus, I mean, he's here. He told Adam there's no need for any more fancy Natutus. And, you know, looking at my favorite ranking system, which obviously does not rank according to fights, more on their point system, but it usually keeps the top names at the top. You know that Adonis is busy with Badu Jack. Kovalev is obviously free coming off of a win. Dimitri Bivol also free coming off of a win, but considered a tough fight in terms of opponent, not that he had a tough time. Eldalil Alvarez has paid more step-aside money, or excuse me, accepted more step-aside money than we've watched him fight. And Oleksandr had just got a win yesterday. Smith lost to Barrera, and there's Marcus Browne. So under Browne is better Biev, and then Barrera from Fora, so on and so forth. I mean, it is the time for Browne, especially with statements like he made to Adam yesterday. I don't know if you were, you know, you could have been busy, could have been on a date. I don't know if you had time to check out Adam's interview with Marcus, but he kind of took shots at Anthony Yarde. You know, he's like, you know, they're pumping up this guy, Anthony Yarde, and he's fought nothing but, I don't know if he said cab drivers or bus drivers, but it was a driver and not a fighter. And Yarde just picked up some sort of WBO international or continental yesterday as well, I believe.
Well, obviously, setting up a big UK fight and rivalry is a smart financial move and business move by Marcus Browne. Because I think Kovalev is a different generation. So when Marcus Browne is really in his prime and potentially reigning as a champion, you know, I don't think Kovalev is going to be contemporary. I think Kovalev is a passing of the torch right now, sort of stage in his career, maybe. He still could be a contender, still could fight guys, but I don't think his reign in the sun is here. I think it's going to be other guys like a Bivol, like a Better Beef, like a Marcus Browne. I think it's their time. Badu Jack, even. I think he has a little bit more time in the sun, too, even though he even said he only has a few fights left in his career. You know, I think that's what we're going to get. And I think Anthony Yarde matchup in the next, let's say, 2-3 years.
I mean, maybe this year, if it's not perceived as a big fight because it's American UK, because like I said, Yarde does have a title. It's a European WBO, and obviously Kovalev is the WBO, and Marcus Browne is the mandatory.
No, you wait a couple years for that one. Because think about it, like,
yeah, but just
put it in perspective.
Argument's sake, just so you know, Anthony Yarde's ranked, you know, on BoxRec at 15.
How many fights is he have? How many fights is he have? Because you're on BoxRec, I'm not.
Yeah. Yarde. Where are you?
That actually changes my opinion. How many fights he has?
15.
I think it's at least a year.
And Brown has 21.
I think
four fight difference only. Oh no, shit, he's 15. All right, so fight difference. That's a lot. That's a big difference. That's 2 years and a half.
In my mind, if those guys get the right wins, that could be a Wilder Joshua in that division. Obviously, not to the magnitude of that fight because they're heavyweights, but similar dynamic, right? I think again, you're going to have a marination factor with those two matchups. If those guys keep winning, you have them fight the Beterbieves, Bivens, the Badou Jacks, the Adonis Stevensons, Kovalevs before they fight each other. Is what I'm probably thinking if I'm in their two respective, camps.
I think if you're Yarde's people, unless Yarde proves to be what the UK fight fans believe, right? They compare him and reference Roy Jones Jr. when talking of Anthony Yarde. So if he proves to be some sort of reincarnation of Roy Jones, they're 26 and 27. They're 26 and 27. Marcus is an Olympian where Yarde is not. So maybe the UK, managerial team, he's with Box Nation and Frank Warren. They might keep Yarde away a little bit longer because he's obviously going to end up being more popular. They're doing a good job promoting him. We have been speaking about him on this side for a while.
And he's a good self-promoter. I mean, our boy Dove in the UK has done a lot of interviews with him. Like, he's a natural,
Shout out to Dove Joe. You can catch him on all forms of social media at Dove Joe. He has done a good job covering Anthony Yarde. And Anthony Yarde's done, like you said, a good job self-promoting. His little video hitting the power punching machine has gone viral for quite some years now, or at least a year. And his pad work. It's that DMV Boogs and Coach Barry Hunter type of pad work. The 1A you see Adrian Broner and Javante and even a Floyd Mayweather, Roger Mayweather do, where it's 1 million combinations.
Agreed. Again, I think that's a fight that we're not going to get in the next 12 months, probably in the next 2 to 3 years.
Well, I mean, if Brown gets a win over Kovalev, emphatic enough that there is no push for a rematch, the rest of the rankings just keep moving. And that's why we may see it sooner than later. But we could definitely switch subjects to Jose Ramirez and the top rank undercard. I would like to start with Jose Pedraza, who's back in action. Jose, he suffered a loss to Gervonta Davis. And
Yes, before we get into any of the actual fight, I just have to say this. He should have had his barber shape up his hair a little bit.
Well, he did it purposely. If you checked, he had the bullseye from Sniper.
No. But in the front part, he could have had that shit shaped up. Just saying.
Well, he threw it out. It was in a ponytail. The whole top is like a mohawk tied into a ponytail.
But if you watch it again, trust me, watch it again. You're gonna see what I'm talking about. He should have had somebody shape it up with the straight edge. Just saying, it would have looked nicer.
Okay. So Pedraza, I'm disappointed in Al Heyman here.
Why?
Well, he's only lost one time, Pedraza did, to Gervonta Davis, and I understand that that one night on the undercard of Luis Collazo and help me here. Let's see if you're on point. You're not on point. I already know Luis Collazo and Keith Thurman.
Oh, tell me now. Pedraza. You talking about Pedraza Davis?
Yeah. What?
No, that was
wait. No.
Come on, I know it. Do you know it?
Listen, bro. You're saying Pedraza Davis. I'm past that. I said we know him for the one loss versus Davis and that one time on the undercard of Keith Thurman and Luis Collazo where he looked bad and still got the win over Edna Cherry. You follow? Are you walking with me or are you cutting me off?
Yes, I got you now.
Freaking rookies always think they got me. So I'm just upset in Al Heyman that somehow he let Pedraza go because hypothetically speaking, Pedraza doesn't work at 130 anymore. He could have moved to 35. He could have moved to 40. and there were fights. He was a former champion with one loss. And I don't know. I'm obviously speaking hypothetically here, Matt. For all I know, Heyman offered him something. Top Rank beat the offer, but they have signed him with one loss. Now, look, there's not much upside. He was getting touched by this Mexican cab driver yesterday. I will say, the cab driver at least had better technique than some of our Border Wars participants. He would probably beat some of our Border Wars participants, but there wasn't enough danger for Pedraza to truly fear. He still was getting caught, but he's looked better than we've seen him look in other days. This was a tune-up. This was just to shake the rust off. And I guess just my final thoughts on this is, Heyman fucked up. You don't get rid of. I mean, if anything, Rosado showed us that you never get rid of a fighter after one loss.
Do you know if Heyman made the contract void or if he was a free agent? Do you know?
Like I said, it's all hypothetical. I don't know what happened, but I know that he had a couple of fights with Heyman. Like I said, he got the Edna.
I know. I'm just curious as to what the dynamic, what contractually was there. If he was a free agent, if he just got a really good deal from Golden Boy, or not Golden Boy, Top Rank, which I could see. I could see Top Rank going, hey, you could get Pedraza. He has one loss, but we could definitely rebuild him. Make him a co-main event on ESPN all the time. Like, I could see that maneuver. I definitely think he looked rusty, though, especially in the beginning. He started getting a little better as the fight went on, which is to be expected from a guy that had a layoff, had a loss in his last fight. But I know Pedraza sort of gets a bad rep for sort of being, what's the term? Almost pedestrian or blue collar in a way. Like he's a little bit.
I wouldn't call him that. I just think that he's not. He's a
workman-like sort of fighter. Like he's not. I don't
think he commits enough. He doesn't commit enough. He's more pitter-patter than anything.
Yeah, there's something there that I think it makes it hard for maybe a lot of fans to connect with. But Pedraza is going to give a lot of guys good fights. He might beat some of those guys on some nights.
Man, his hands are low, bro. This guy shouldn't have been touching him the way that he was.
No. But let's be honest here. I mean, we had two guys that were sort of prospects or / champions trying to bounce back to prominence on this card. One had a win. One did not.
So that's your final thoughts then? Because I wasn't going to jump on, but if you want to move on to the next, I will.
Yeah, I'm
all right. So speaking of, and one of the reasons that I believe that they signed Pedraza was because of Felix Verdejo. There were already headlines out there that, Bob said he was looking to match them in the future. Verdejo drops the ball and really, he got his ass beat yesterday. You know what I mean? And it's sad. It's sad.
That guy had the entire world and industry hoping that he was going to be the next Miguel Cotto. And injuries, layoffs, himself shooting himself in the foot, it's so sad the waste of talent we have here because he was the better guy still than this guy.
I think that because of his nationality, his amateur background, and his signing, I think that he's going to be better than, let's say, a Hector Munoz. For those that don't know Hector Munoz, he just retired off of his last fight, and he's the infamous fighter that you've seen on Showbox and on many televisions with a big gun tattoo, So that's Hector Munoz. I think that Verdejo as a prospect has had enough A-side
Nice try, Ness. That's good. You just keep going. Just keep rolling, man. You're good.
I don't know. I can't get it out. Developmental. There you go. Something like that. Mental fights. Developmental fights. Enough A-side developmental fights that he's kind of put together a nice little cushion, I think. I think he could go back to PR. Me being Latin, me visiting the country of Puerto Rico often. I know that he could go back and be good.
How old is he?
He's young.
What, like 24, 25 still probably?
Probably.
I mean, that's the thing here.
I don't think he can rebuild from this, though. That was an ass whooping to someone we've never heard of. That was it. I mean, maybe a new trainer because he's still with fucking Ricky Martin, man. I asked Adam, I'm like, yo, was Ricky Martin? Because I see that another guy we're going to talk about who got a really shitty win as well, Pitufo, Christopher Diaz, Christopher Pitufo Diaz. He's another Puerto Rican fighter, signed a Top Rank. He was also, it's a co-promotion. I don't know if this still exists, but when he first stepped on the scene, he was co-promoted with Felix Diaz. None other than Felix Diaz, the one we're talking, not Diaz, excuse me, Felix Verdejo, the one that we're talking about. But he was also trained by Verdejo's trainer, Ricky Martin, not the singer. But Verdejo and Ricky are extremely religious. I mean, Pentecostal Christians. So whatever. Pitufo is not with them anymore. He's now training with Chino, which his stable is getting fucking good. Like, not, Freddie Roach 5 years ago stable, but yo, Chino has Jason Sosa, Tevin Farmer, Cornflake Lamana, Steven Ortiz, and there's like one other guy, and now he got Pitufo Diaz and like another undefeated young up and comer. Like slowly but surely, that's how you start to build your stable.
I got
you did the robot thing.
I know. Do you think it's a level of like bad promotion here, bad promoting, I should say, because look at who Felix Verdejo fought last night. A guy that was 39-2, 33 KOs. The 2 losses he has, one of them he revenged and got the win against the guy in a rematch. And the other fight was against Roberto Ortiz years ago, like 7 years ago.
Yeah, look, I never even checked that guy's box record. And I'll tell you what, if it would have been pre-fight, I would have told everyone keep their eyes open based off that resume right there. But, yo, we've been saying Verdejo hasn't been looking like what Bob was selling, right? But this is the one thing you got to give credit to. Bruce Trampler, those matchmakers at Top Rank, they were able to keep Verdejo undefeated all these years, even though we've been saying like, yo, wait a minute, he's not looking as crisp.
But we can't celebrate those matchmakers when they put a guy over a year layoff against a guy with that resume, with over an 80% knockout ratio that's only lost twice and hasn't lost in years.
Well, only thing I could think of, Matt, and there's no facts on this, but maybe we need to do a search on, is this kid signed a Top Rank as well?
Awesome.
Because if you're Bob, you've invested in this Olympian that's graced the ring with Lomachenko, has had some very high accolades in the amateurs and a lot of hype by media experts. You sign him, you make a lot of hoopla. You do all these fights around him. You build him up in New York City. You get him a wear in Puerto Rico. You get him sponsored by Dodge. But fight after fight, he lets you down. Fight after fight, you're worried. Then he goes out, gets hurt. Then he goes out and gets a fucking another accident and either gets shot or hit by a car. I mean, there's always something with him. And again, he's Christian. Imagine if he was out there ripping and running.
Shout out to the super chat, Eric Cruz, saying shout out to the hardest working team in the boxing game, TBV, La Familia. Thank you, Eric Cruz. Always.
Shout out to one of the hardest super chatters, Eric Cruz. Always showing us some love for sure. Appreciate you. Listen, Pitufo Diaz was doing his thing. We're going to move on to Christopher Diaz, ladies and gentlemen. He's also signed a Top Rank. You can catch all these fights on the Watch ESPN app. They're all on replay. Excellent quality. That is one thing that I am happy with this merger. The other thing is there's a lot of fights on their archive now because they have Top Rank and Golden Boy. So right away, you put boxing on your cable provider and it pops up Canelo Golovkin. And I'm like, wow, I thought this was a Top Rank ESPN deal, but no, all the Golden Boy shit is there too. Past fights, new fights, and even they're doing well promoting. Like it even said, Ryan Garcia is going to be fighting Fernando Vargas. That's not Francisco though, right? Who the hell is Fernando?
Fernando Vargas. I have no idea. I can look up his resume.
He almost fooled me. I said, damn, this little kid jumping up to fight Francisco Vargas right now? He coming for Tank, Because, in his media day Tuesday, he said, I don't know why, but I just want to fight Tank. I just do. I like him, though. He's fast. He's flashy. He talks. He's Latin. He's signed a Golden Boy. Let's see what Golden Boy does with him. They need some stars for sure. So Pitufo Diaz, good left hook. He was cutting the ring off well. but his man got injured. Freak accident. His man tried to counter with the right hand off of a 1-2 jab. The two never came. The shoulder dislocated, and he couldn't continue. Pitufo gets the win. He became like a WBO champion, and Chino did it again. I don't know if you watched this one. Probably not, right?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah, of course I did.
Oh.
It was really the only card of note this Saturday, so yeah, of course I watched it all. I don't know what I think of Christopher Diaz, like, overall yet. Like, I think he looks good. I think he's talented. Like, that's undeniable. But he almost has that Caleb Plant factor to me right now, where I don't know if he has the power. I don't know if that technique's going to translate at the highest level yet. So I don't know how I rate him yet. I think he's good, don't get me wrong, but I don't know where I place him yet going forward. But definitely a talent that we need to be watching going forward, just like a Caleb Plant or somebody like that.
You know, I want to address this comment here. Who was it? Oh man, where'd he go? Right there. Oh, it's always you. Oh no, that wasn't you.
What?
I'll say your comment as well. This wasn't the main one I was gonna address. It says, oh, there he goes. Okay, damn. But we had two, all right. So OTKP says Ryan Garcia is going to be a star, but that defense needs a lot of work. Reminds me of Amir Khan. And Okay Damn says Ryan needs to leave Oscar de la Hoya. Pretty creative there, Damn. And he says, and sign with Big Al Heyman. So what do you think about that? I'm going to go ahead and give you my opinion and leave the floor to you. I will say this. Al has proven he can do well with Hispanic fighters. He hasn't proven that he can turn them over to like a Eric Morales. And I guess that's unfair. Those guys live in Mexico, right? Canelo lives in I don't know. I just never seen him activate a star. These Latins that he has are pre-existing stars. And I know that it's been a while for Oscar, you know, but we have to give him credit for Canelo. We have to give him credit for Abner and Leo and any of the Latin American or Latino Mexican American stars that, you know, Golden Boy had at the time of their union with Al Heyman. I mean, the credit goes to Oscar. What I will say before I pass it to you is Joseph Diaz Jr., he has not made me feel like that was the right signing. Now, that is a kid who was a 2012 Olympian with all the other Olympians that did sign with Al and have all gone to be even world champions. The one that hasn't is Marcus Browne, and we talked about him in the opening of the show that he's having a world title shot. And the other one is Rashid Warren, who won the belt, lost the belt, fought for it again. So it seems like all those Olympians made the right decision by signing with Al, and Joseph Diaz didn't. He went with the Latino promoter, and it didn't help. Will it help Ryan?
I don't know. I'm really conflicted about Ryan Garcia because to me, he hasn't beat anyone of note yet. He seems, I mean, quite social media like built up, like almost. I really like. I don't want to use like too harsh of like framing, but like he almost seems like a like industry manufactured like star or plant.
I know you hate interruptions. I just want to disagree on that word and say not industry, whatever you said. I would say more self-made, bro. The video that made him was that double N in his garage video. It wasn't even a double N. It's like one of those cheap things you fill with water at the bottom, and it does what the double N bag does.
He's one of those guys like what's his name? Like Babyface Nico, right? Like I forget his name. I think he's also signed with Golden Boy. He's like 7-0, right? He's
Babyface Nico Hernandez.
Is that his name? No, Nico Hernandez. Not Nico Hernandez. He's big on social media. He's huge on Instagram. He has like almost like 1 million like followers for a guy that's 7-0 and a prospect. He's one of those like young guys that understand Instagram, that understand social media, that understand the idea of going viral. You know, like actual Logan Paul that knows how to box. You know, it's that sort of sense and mentality of a younger generation. So you may be right that it's self-made, but it definitely seems pushed. It definitely seems like there is a big push by Golden Boy for a guy like Ryan Garcia.
Yo, we need like a milk carton soundbite. I know that sounds retarded, right? But like, the milk carton represents where have they been?
Yes.
Maybe a newscasting like, Amber Alert or something. Yo, right now we're talking prospects, and I'm like, what the fuck happened to Nano? Nano that was trained by Robert Garcia. He was signed to Top Rank. He was looking like a little animal pit bull being there with Robert. Ends up leaving Robert. His deal with Robert ends. His deal with Top Rank ends. Signs with Mayweather. And bro, it's like the fucking desert swallowed him. I've never heard from him again.
I mean, that happens to tons of prospects, unfortunately. There's tons of guys that just don't pan out for whatever reason, whether it be personal.
But he didn't take a loss. He just signed and never heard of him again. I mean, I know they put him on one fight. I ain't going to completely exaggerate. But after one fight that was off TV,
there's guys that get all the push of the world, like a Michael Conlan, who we're going to talk about, like a Shakur Stevenson. And there's guys that just don't, for whatever reason it may be. And you can say it's bad promoting or promoter. It's malpractice. You can say it's a lot of things. And I really have like no disagreement with it, because it's one of those things where there's no one answer for all. It's every individual case is different.
Yeah, man. Inactivity sucks, and okay, damn, in the chat says, cough. Nano won a close decision and shitty fans turned their back on him. See, I don't even remember that fight. But inactivity, bro. That's really what hurt Iman. I know we're not on the main event, but it is. It's becoming more and more of a thing in boxing. And it's funny because I feel like we're getting more matches than we've ever gotten. Like, definitely more matches than 24 months ago. We didn't have boxing this much on television, this many consistent competing cards. There's definitely an uptick in boxing now. And it still feels like some of these guys are just so inactive. Diego Chavez's, Amir Imam's, Bermain Steverns. It seems like anyone signed a Don fights twice every 3 years.
Yeah, and I mean, you got to think about this, that we do have a lot of cards, but most boxing cards aren't deep. Like, you don't have, like, let's say 10 to 15 fights on a card. You have 7, right? Like, you have 5. You have maybe 8 or 9 at the most. We don't get really deep cards in boxing like we do in other combat sports. So there are still limited spots for exposure, especially when certain networks don't stream all their undercards, let's say like HBO sometimes or Showtime sometimes. It's easy to get lost in the mix, and especially with there being more cards, like you say, Ness, it's actually almost easier to get lost in the mix because there's so much going on. We have so much to report on. The news cycle is changing every day. It's a 24-hour news cycle. So it's very easy to become news one day and then become, history the next, unfortunately, with today's age. There is an abundance of boxing. So therefore, if you're not the hot thing right now, if you're not constantly in the media, you're going to get lost in the shuffle, most likely.
Really quick, Kaz in the super chat said, what happened to Hot Rod, the guy that robbed Marcus Browne on the Spence undercard? Look, we were talking about that earlier. It's funny. I actually did speak to him because I wanted to get out there. Since we visit Florida so much, TBV, I wanted to get out there to him. He told me he's having a baby and he hasn't been fighting, but he is thinking of getting back in the gym. That being said, listen, we have quite a few people watching, and we are truly grateful always for our audience. What we would appreciate is a couple of thumbs up. That does help with the visibility of the show, and also some 5-star reviews. Matt, unfortunately, I have to report that we have a 1-star review to read, and the reason I'm going to read it is because A, I have to be fair and read everything we get, and B, hopefully it entices some of the people that think this show is a lot better deserving than this 1-star, and just a more, I forget, you know what? your side. This is his side, and it comes from the UK, and it's AI 80, the nationalism voice, Matt.
Oh, I love it already. Hold on, let's go. Oh, Ness, I need my Joe Budden air horns right now. Let's go.
Yo, I gotta send you that because you're killing me.
Yo, you. I love it.
I look forward to returning to this show and amending my 1-star rating when AJ finally fights Wilder. Until then, the host should really start referring to this podcast as the nationalism voice, because the endless lame banter and smack talk in the run-up to his inevitable heavyweight clash has completely destroyed one of my favorite shows. Facts are flung in the toilet. British fans call in to bark about AJ. American fans call in to bark about Wilder. Both sides endlessly contradict themselves. It's just not very interesting or fun to listen to. And it's the topic of every other show, even when it isn't supposed to be. The fact that some of the show's best callers' characters in their own right haven't been heard recently says it all. What makes it even worse is that the co-host, Matthew.
Yes,
sir.
I got a shout out, guys. Let's go.
So often, the brilliant foil when Nestor starts ranting and raving
let's go.
Like a sugar rushing infant. Has begun to bend what I assume is the will of the audience and started being as callous with untruths and conspiracies as everyone who calls in. A real shame. I love this show and look forward to returning to it after this fight. It's usually a terrific program, wouldn't he? But when people begin calling in simply to issue impotent threats.
Hold on. This is such a long review. I love it. This guy really put the time into it.
Yeah, that's why we need some other guys to fucking put the time in too. Like, this is the last review. When you go there now, this is what they see. So, my TBV army, I ask you, stand up. Let me get some room for my mic here. We got to.
Hold on. Are you saying this? Or you doing it?
I was trying to do the Wakanda Forever, but I just punched my mic, even though
you fucked up. It's okay, Ness.
Well, it is a boxing show, so I'm allowed to punch. That's not. Hey, I did a Tyson Fury. At least I didn't do a Tyson Fury, rather, right? He punched himself.
Yeah.
So anyway, where are we? Disturbed men who sound like potential school shooters started raving about Nazis in the 1930s to illustrate vague points about the outcome of its potential fight. Yes, really. I knew it was time for me to bow out. To anyone in the same boat, the rest.
What?
I cannot say the rest.
Oh, you can't? What? Dude, send to me.
It is censored.
Oh, send to me, though.
It's Chinese or another language, but I will send it. Okay. That being said, that is the only freaking review we got, Matt. Not cool.
That's amazing.
Not cool.
Hey, but in that review, I am brilliant. I am amazing.
You were.
You are not. So
no. He said you. He clearly said you used to be.
No, I didn't hear that part. I'm the best around.
Hey. You were the best when you wouldn't let me and the callers run amok with conspiracies and untruths. He said that you have begun to be just like everyone else.
How? I'm assuming this person.
Matt, this show is about boxing and not your ego. Are we really going
to let me hold on. I assume this reviewer is still listening to this show. Please call in because I would love to have a debate about this.
Whoa, you want to debate his review? Is anything not debatable?
No, everything's debatable. You know that.
Damn, look, see, Mitsubishi said you're shit now.
I am shit or the shit. Like, there's two different things.
Nah, he didn't say the shit.
No.
Yo, Angie said the UK guy is lying. What the fuck you lying? Yo, you got to drop a review. You can't just drop a comment, man. You have to drop the review. So I think we're on to Amir Imam, right? We're right on track. Got a few minutes before we open up these phone lines. Remember the number.
No, we're not.
425-569-5241. Press one time. Don't forget to add Nestor Gibbs. You could add us on Skype, but you must add a friend request. So that means you got to say, hey, I want to be your friend. And then I'll add you. Then boom, voila, you're on the show. Now check it out. You could download the Skype app absolutely free on your desktop, on your laptop, but even better on whatever smartphone you have, whether that be iPhone or iPhone. Nah, I'm kidding. Even though I would rather everyone just had an iPhone. But yeah, Android too. All right. So Amir Imam.
No. We're not there yet.
Well, we did Pidufo Diaz and we did Felix Diaz. I mean, Verdejo.
Yeah, but we're working from the bottom of the card up. So then it would be Gvozdyk, then Amir Imam.
I mean, I didn't even know that Brazilian he was fighting. Was he fighting? It wasn't even a Brazilian. He was like a Middle Eastern he was fighting, right? Hamed, it was something like that, right?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, look, Gvozdyk did what he did, but he got hit with a lot of left hooks by a dude I never heard of that wasn't on his level. But I'm not going to do what I normally do when these European fighters don't look as great as you hipsters and hardcores like to make them out to be. I'll just say what you normally say. It's like, yo, it's this dude. So he didn't really get up for it. He got the win to fight another day. And I'll watch him another day when it's more important. I mean, he's lucky I watched this fight because I didn't know his opponent, but it was like the only fight of the weekend. So it's like, fuck it. I watched the whole fight through, but word is born. If there was other fights to watch, he would have never got my time fighting this dude. And then he got touched up by him. Let's be honest. Like his eye is swollen shut. It's fucking ridiculous. But people thought he was the guy. And somehow Marcus Browne ducked him. Like,
anyways.
It's crazy. But he did look good.
Don't worry.
For whatever level of opposition that was last night.
He just looked lackluster in there to me. Like he looked like he didn't really put a huge effort in. We've seen him in other fights like the Isaac Chalemba fight. I think bring it to another level, bring it to another gear, so to speak, and put on a better performance. But again, we've also seen Gvozdyk, I think, put in lackluster performances. So I don't know how to rate him. You know, there's times that he tries to do the Lomachenko and, you know, pull the guard away and be fancy and find angles. But then there's times that he gets
that. Like the breaking of the guard, right?
Yeah. Because he's Ukrainian with Lomachenko and that whole side with Usyk and all that. There's a relation there, I believe. That's why Lomachenko was in attendance as well. Other than just being with Top Rank, obviously.
Yeah, well, they're all signed to Aegis, bro. Like, get your life straight.
Yeah,
Limas is like the lead European promoter.
Well, it's not just that. I think they all came from the same amateur team. From what I remember.
Should I say manager or something like that?
Manager, yeah, he's a manager, so it's different. I think they all came from the same Ukrainian amateur team. Usyk, Lomachenko, and Gvozdyk, I believe. And they were all taught by Lomachenko's dad at one point or another, I believe. So you can see that similarity, that style at times, but at 175 pounds, he doesn't do it right. He can't pull it off the same way. He doesn't have the footwork as well that Usyk and Lomachenko have. So he's a little bit more stationary at times, you know. He doesn't have the head movement that those two guys have. You know, there's defensive flaws that he just does have. Offensively, he's pretty good. He doesn't have the most power, but offensively, he has great combinations. He works behind the jab. He does pick angles that are pretty decent and from an odd angle and unorthodox angle. But oftentimes he stays there. He doesn't move out. He doesn't throw a combination, then readjust himself. He stays there along the center line to get hit. That to me is a big issue that needs to be corrected. I don't know how to correct that going forward for him individually, but that's something that he probably needs to think about heading forward. Because if he does face Adonis Stevenson, Badou Jack, Beterbiev, Bivol, Marcus Browne, Kovalev. I think he loses at this point. I don't think he beats any of those guys. He may give them all great fights, but I don't think he beats any of those guys at this point.
Yeah, so am I missing someone else before, or could we move on?
Do you want to do Ramirez or Michael Conlan first?
Ramirez.
Okay.
Well, I mean, if we're going to stay in order, it's Ramirez, I think.
Yes, it is.
You know, I can't really say anything bad about Ramirez. I know that you aren't as happy with this fight for whatever reason. I do think he got hit, but I think it was more not, and I know we've seen this style before, but we haven't seen him hit this much before. I'll say he threw caution to win because he didn't feel the shots. And he hurt Iman, I believe it was like the fifth, hurt him hard with a good right hand, really rattled him. You know, he wobbled his legs. Amir Imam, at the end of the day, man, it's going to suck because, you know, me and you will get into an argument a month or two or a year from now, and I'll be like, man, who the fuck did Amir Imam beat? But he does have skill, man.
Oh, yeah, he does.
Yo, like, he's got skill. If some of these other kids could have the movement and agility that he has, they would be happy. What he doesn't have is commitment. He doesn't have conviction. And that's what Ramirez had, bro. Ramirez wanted to win. You know, so many slick black fighters get caught up in being slick black fighters that they don't do enough work to win. And forget about the cards, because by the time you look at it, you realize now you're down on them cards and you got to fight outside of that slick black fighter character, and it becomes worse. Ramirez was landing some really nice right hands. He was, I mean, I want to see him as he, listen, it's going to be fucking fireworks with him in Prograis. I know, again, that you're not excited from last night's performance, but, you know, just watching that left hook, bro, the way that he whips it, like, minimally, it's a double, minimally. And it's very, very fast, bro. It's very fast. He's whipping it. He's digging that shit. Like, I'm ready for this fight with and he just beat someone taller, slicker, and fuck it, better than him. And he beat the shit out of him.
Some tennis. I think Ramirez is a lesser version of a Leo Santa Cruz. A guy that can work behind volume, work behind a jab, not a great jab, but a jab, and just outwork his opponent, make him show up. You know, eventually in the second half of the fight, just wear him down, wear him out. And we saw that eventually wear out on Amir Imam's face. I mean, his face was busted up by the 12th round. Bad. But if you look back on that fight in the first 6 rounds, if that was a 6-rounder, Amir Imam won that fight. Amir Imam was making Jose Ramirez miss at will.
Yo, tennis, bro. I know I talked way longer than you, but how could you say
way longer?
Yeah, of course. But look, how could you say if this was a 6-rounder, like, dude, it's a 6-rounder when it's a 6-rounder for a reason.
No. I understand. No. Again,
like, game plans are meant to go.
Yes. Let me finish my take on the fight, because you had like ages. Just relax. It's okay. Amir Imam was able to work behind very little of a work rate, and just because of his skill and his technique and the way he could slip shots, was able to outbox Ramirez a lot through the first 6 rounds. Was able to keep him at bay with the jab,
but it was costing him.
It was it was, and like you said at the top of your opinion, or your take, I should say, Amon doesn't have the conviction. He doesn't have the willingness to throw a 4-piece combination or a 5-piece combination. He was throwing in 1s and 2s. That was his downfall. Ramirez decided, I don't care if I'm going to get hit with the jab. I'm going to just throw to his chest, through his body. I'm going to throw 4 or 5 punches at a time, every time, behind a double jab, always and always, and just rinse and repeat. Just rinse and repeat. I don't care if I'm going to get hit. I'm just going to rinse and repeat that. And Imam could not adjust to that. He could not adjust to a counter burst. He had to stick to one piece or two piece because he couldn't change it. That was his downfall. If Amir Imam or anyone else fought Ramirez with that style and could throw a 4 or 5 piece as well and can take a punch, take the pressure mentally of Ramirez, I think they beat Ramirez.
Matt, you got to watch that fight again. Ramirez did more than just rinse and repeat.
I watched it 3 times.
Nah, not enough then. He did more than just rinse, repeat. That dude was shifting, doing angles. At one point, he copycatted, and I don't even want to say it. I don't want to fucking say it because I know what they're going to say. So I don't want to say it. But you seen what he did. You seen him go. You seen it. I don't want to say it. Don't make me say it.
Oh, man.
You seen it.
No, Ramirez got touched up, and he was missing a lot of the shots in the early portion of the fight. I think if you have a guy that can take the mental side of the fight better than Amir Imam, I think they can beat Ramirez.
I think I've just evolved, bro. I remember when I first started, it was real simple for me. Good and bum. And, after the year.
Don't clarify that as me or classify that.
I'm not saying it's you. I can't tell a story. So
I know, but the listener may think that's you're talking about my perception of it. I don't think Ramirez is a bum. I think he just may not be the best guy in the division. When we have Alex Lemon call in and talk about how great Ramirez is, I don't see that yet. I see a champion. I see a guy that can definitely make great fights. But
right now,
I don't think Andy Garcia
140. Right now, Mikey is his biggest threat.
Prograis beats him.
Yeah, that's what you say.
That's what I think.
That's what you say. There's a reason that Jose Ramirez is the one that went to the Olympics. There's a reason Jose Ramirez is the one that fought and lost to Vasil Lomachenko. There's a reason that Jose Ramirez is signed a top rank and Prograis is signed a fucking Lou DiBella.
True.
There's a reason that Prograis is 27 as an interim champion. Should I Google Ramirez or do you?
Yeah, Google him.
I don't need to because there's a reason Ramirez sells 15,000 tickets. You think Prograis is going to walk through him just because you're crazy.
I didn't say he was going to walk through him.
No, that's what it sounds like. It sounds like you're writing Ramirez off. And let me tell you something, Alex.
No. I'm not writing him off. I do not see
you don't see Prograis losing, right?
I can see him losing. I don't.
Prograis beats him. That was your words. Prograis beats him.
Yes.
And that's the next fight.
Yes, I don't. I can see Ramirez beating him, but I don't think he does. I don't think he does at all.
I think he can totally outwork everyone that he gets in the ring with except Mikey.
I think he can outjack a lot of guys.
He's gonna be a bull, bro, for everybody. Listen, he just did that to Amir Imam, and I know
who gets bold. That's what he is known for, is to get bullied.
Very true. Very true.
The only time he ever fought anyone of note, he got bullied. Worse than this.
Nah, right? I don't know if it was
knocked down. He got knocked down with Granados. What are we talking about here? Come on, man.
SK10. Which Taylor? Emmanuel? I'll take that. Sign me up. Because here's the thing. Here's the thing. Hold on. You're already saying no. Let me report some breaking news. Can I report some breaking news? What are you saying over there? I can't even hear you. What?
That's not what he's mean. He says Josh Taylor. I'm assuming he's talking about Josh Taylor.
Oh, PS Ken is from the UK?
Yes, that's why.
Well, you have to message again and let us know. Is it Josh or?
I doubt it's Emmanuel Taylor. Come on, who cares?
Well, he is more established in the division than all of the kids that we're talking about.
When was the last time he fought?
When he lost to Matisse at 47 and then decided he's coming back down. So it's not a bad thing to be talking about him. But look, it's all right. It doesn't matter. What matters is where was the point we were going before we were interrupted with that?
I don't know, Ness. You were about to change it to something, I think.
Yes, the breaking news.
Yes. I don't know what the breaking news is.
But who invented the word marinate in the sport of boxing?
Wasn't it Bob?
Bob Arum. So that's already what he wants to do. He's already come out and said he does not want Ramirez versus Prograis next. He wants them to both take interim fights on each other's undercard, right? So like I guess my man Jose goes back home in front of his 15,000 and then shows the world like, look, this is who I'll be fighting next on my undercard. This is him. Look, we know what world we live in, bro. And I like to tell this to my girlfriend all the time. Like, yo, I live in reality. This way, when we argue, we could use exact words, be literal. And we know this is gonna happen. We could sit here and say, oh, this is fucking Bob again. Oh, it's bullshit. He did it with Lopez and Gambo. Oh, give so many reasons why marinating is whack. But it's gonna fucking happen. And I don't know if I'm already brainwashed, or what prisoners call institutionalized.
Oh, you are.
That I'm already okay with it. Like, I know it makes the fight better. For Prograis, again, he's 27 as an interim champion, just now stepping on the scene. You know what I mean? Just now getting 1,000 likes on Instagram. You know what I mean? He just got out of like a flood and moved to Texas. Like he might need this in between. He might. It might be what him and his family need. Just saying.
Well,
For Ramirez with the tough style, he just had 2 tough back-to-back fights. One undefeated fighter in Mike Reed, and then a once lost fighter, once defeated fighter in Amir Imam. And I know that a month from now, a year from now, we'll say who the fuck did Imam beat, but he still has skills.
Agreed. I know that Prograis was there, I think, in attendance.
He was.
So I don't know. What?
Can I report some more breaking to you?
Sure, Mr. Cutoff.
Prograis posted a picture of him and Crawford, like, not hugged up, but, arm's length.
Like dapped up.
And he's like, and I'm paraphrasing, go check it out for yourself on Prograis, Twitter or Instagram. I think he just got verified on Insta. Or Twitter, whatever, one of the two. But he's on Insta. The message is on Insta, and it's a picture of him and Crawford. And he says, I got to meet the pound-for-pound champ. But yeah, I told him I'll fuck him up. And he told me he'll fuck me up. Maybe we'll get this fight later down the line. But I'll still fuck him up. So I loved it. You know what I mean? Like, that's my type of shit talking. I'm from the inner city. I loved it, man. So I'm going to go ahead and go get some aguash while you do all the talking that you said I didn't allow you to do.
That's great. Thank you so much, Ness. So go get your coffee. Okay.
I forgot about the coffee. I was just gonna get water. Now I am gonna get the coffee.
Welcome. Go get coffee, Mr.
Man, Matt. You know you the man.
I know I'm the man. I'm always the man. Just relax. Just make sure you mute your mic, Ness, because you always leave your mic hot when you leave. Yes. You need to send me that one too, Ness. I think Prograis is one of those guys that he might not be the guy. Mikey might be able to beat him probably. But Prograis has that X factor that you can sort of tell. He has that dog in him, so to speak. I think he could put a great fight in with Ramirez. I think style-wise, that would be a very interesting matchup. I think Prograis would probably be able to slip a lot of those shots by Ramirez on the inside, be able to work to the body, work the jab, and eventually be able to win a decision, most likely, because I think both those guys are just too tough to probably be knocked out by the other. And neither guy has that, one-punch knockout power that we've seen so far. I don't think the Ndongo fight is indicative of that just yet. A little bit more of a wait and see. But I think whatever Ramirez does next, he can do it. Like Ness said, he can sell out 15,000 by himself in the middle of California, in the middle of nowhere in Fresno. That is a type of drawing power that's rarely seen in the U.S., and it's one that you can always fall back on. Similar to, let's say, Terrence Crawford in Omaha, Nebraska. That was a market that was never a boxing market, was never seen as a market you could make money in, and Terrence Crawford was able to make money in that market. May not be a lot of money, but he was able to make money in that market. Ramirez has that effect in Central California with the Hispanic market here. They can always go back to that well. I think, though, you got to put Ramirez in LA. Eventually, you're going to have to move him from Central California down to Southern California, which is a bigger market. I think the Forum is an ideal location for him because he will probably outsell the StubHub. StubHub is only like 3,000 to 4,000. It's smaller than even MSG Theater. I think, probably speaking, you put him in the forum against Prograis, that can do 8,000, 10,000. But you're probably going to sell the tickets for 20 to 40% more on average than the ones in Fresno. Make a lot more money in LA at the forum. That
in LA with Prograis?
No, it's Ramirez.
Yeah, but Prograis with Ramirez.
Yeah, I think that's why, because that's the biggest fight you can probably make.
I don't think that Prograis. I don't think the forum. And anyway, isn't the forum like 5,000?
Forum's like 15, 13. Maybe.
What?
That's big.
Yo, speaking of, last night was only 4,600 tickets. Now, explain to me, why would they use the big room when the little room does 4,400?
They did use the little room.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they did.
No, dog, anytime the ring is in.
They expanded the little room to where it can now seat around like a little bit over 5,000. We have the tweet from who? Michael Coppinger? We do. Look at the pre-pro chat, man. Come on. They're in the little one.
No way.
Yes.
How they put the ring in the center, bro? That's wrong. You're wrong. You know what? Let me just text Adam.
I'm not wrong.
Let me text Adam.
Text Adam. You can gladly text Adam.
I do see Keith Idec says theater tonight, 46
out of 5,100.
Yeah. So how'd they find? What is that? It was 4,400 before, so they found 700 more seats with.
They did that like a while back. I feel like they expanded it. Like for a while, that's been the max for the theater. I would say for the last like a year and a half, 2 years. So again, it was a theater. I know you texted Adam, but it's been reported as such. I think the reason it didn't.
Well, that's good then.
The reason it didn't do a sellout like it did is I think they miscalculated what to do with the headliner. They absolutely did, and they obviously misadvertised the headliner. You know, obviously the marquee fight on St. Patrick's Day for them was Michael Conlan, at least in New York. That's why he was the main event, so to speak. He was the last fight in the evening, but it was titled and advertised as Ramirez versus Imam.
Yeah, because I think from a marketing, like street team standpoint, a New York City. I didn't hear you. What?
I think from a TV perspective, they wanted to put Ramirez at the top.
Exactly.
Because he's done $1 million before. With Mike Reed, he did $1 million, I think, like 1.1, didn't he?
Well, and also, he's the one that they're trying to promote. You know what I mean? So the thing is, he doesn't have an East Coast fan base just yet, but he brought one. They were there with him in the post fight. That was impressive as well. But that's why the Conlan thing was pushed heavily on a street team kind of way, like flyers locally to sell all those tickets.
I was going to ask you about that, if there was a regional presence about promoting Michael Conlan specifically for this card. Also, I just want to make note of it. Almost all the local newspapers in LA were featuring Jose Ramirez articles this week and after the fight. Just something to make note of, that there is this.
No, that guy does a fantastic job. Rick Migran. I think it's Migran. He does a great job with Jose. You know, again, Jose's homegrown, bro. They homegrowned him. Listen, if you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. And you could go a step further and hook us up with a 5-star review.
Or one.
Remember to rate us 5 stars on iTunes.
We need those. What'd you say, Matt?
I said, or a 1-star. We will still read them. Doesn't matter.
Matt, you really asking for
we are that egotistical.
You really asking for 1 stars, Matt? Like, what's really good?
I'm just saying, it's better than no star.
Mr. Potter, we absolutely spoke about Kovalev and Browne, but you are more than welcome to call in. The number is 1-425-569-5241, and you can give us your take on Kovalev, Browne. Anyone can use that number to call in, and you could also add Nestor Gibbs on Skype. That's NESTORGIBBS. All right, so we spoke of Ramirez, we spoke of what's the future for him, and now we got to do a little brush up on Conlan. Had a second round knockout over a what's the proper boxing terminology used here?
A journeyman?
No.
He wasn't even a journeyman.
He was what I said. He got a second round knockout over
Developmental fight.
Excuse me. He's got a second round knockout. I guess the word isn't over.
Oh, you smack your lips.
Can't say over because then I'll be repeating over. But the opponent was overmatched. Bottom line, like he didn't belong in there. He wasn't on the same level. Like I'm only excited to talk about Conlan today because he made the switch from Manny. Not that I don't like Manny. Shout out to Robles actually letting Matt in the gym Tuesdays and Thursdays whenever Matt actually gets off his butt. But he went from Robles to Adam Booth. I like Adam Booth. He's done pretty good with some fighters, you know. I believe Adam Booth had St. George Pierre at one time. Wrong St. George Grove.
MMA right there.
Yeah, I meant to say St. George Grove.
Freudian slip, man. Oh my God. That was
well, you are on the show influencing me, unfortunately.
Whoa.
Shout out to my man. I love Muff, bro. We're gonna have to go out Muff diving one day. At Kaz, aka Alade Bird, doesn't know what the fuck all about boxing troll. Oh, they're having their own beef. Yo, you know life's good when you fucking paying to say your beef out loud.
That is true. That is true.
Now, what were you gonna say there, my friend, buddy?
I don't know. I forget. But Michael Conlan, I think he just has that factor to be a star. I don't know if he's gonna be a star again. We haven't seen what he can do against top level competition yet, so it's way too early to say that. But the way he is on camera, the way he can do an interview in a promo spot, it's natural for a guy with 6 fights. Shakur Stevenson can't do that yet. You know, and obviously there's a big age difference between the two. Michael Conlan's 26.
He's 27.
Yeah, there is a, you know, when you talk about Regis Prograis being, you know, he's 27, just getting an interim belt. I mean, Michael Conlan's 27 and just had his.
Yeah, but Michael Conlan made the amount of money Prograis made last week.
No, absolutely. No. Again, absolutely.
That's why you're 27. Whenever you're 27 in the boxing game, you better have a gold medal or had competed in at least 2 Olympics. Like, because it doesn't make any sense for you to have that late of a start.
And he has a bronze medal. That is something. It's not nothing. Obviously, medaling in any Olympic is something to make note of. I think that Michael Conlan is somebody that, I mean, they definitely found a golden ticket. That if he gets the right wins,
what division is he in, Matt?
I think he's at 130 right now. But he's gonna move up 135, 140, maybe 147.
The good thing about Top Rank is they'll keep him away until they can, you know, like let the bird out of the cage, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? Because like if you think of 130 right now, it's like, ooh, I don't know, but. And I don't really even know because, I mean, I would have to really pull up BoxRec to remember who the fuck is at 130. I know Davis is there in Lomachenko, but Lomachenko's moving up. He already signed his fight. Davis didn't make weight the last time out. I mean, but he's in camp now training to fight Quellar. I mean, who knows what happens there for real. I wanted to say PSK made another comment and said that he feels that the style of Adam Booth will not mesh well or gel well is the word he used with Conlan, but seemed well yesterday, bro. That body punch to the solar plex made it a short night of work for Conlan.
And they definitely seem like they're friendly together. There definitely seems to be some sort of chemistry. I always got the impression that the Robles Michael Conlan relationship was a little bit more clinical and professional in a way. It was Michael Conlan saying, you know, thinking to himself, well, I signed with Top Rank, a U.S. promoter. I should move to the U.S., move to L.A. where Top Rank is based. And who's the hottest trainer in LA right now? At that time, it was Manny Robles. He was, at that time, one of the hottest. Jesse Magdaleno was beating Nonito Donaire. Oscar Valdez was getting a championship. Dominic Brazil was making some noise. Freddie Roach and Manny Pacquiao really weren't doing much at that time. It made sense why he did that. I think probably in his eyes, he's thinking, I'm not getting the one-on-one attention I need. And I think he's getting that from Adam Booth. So I think it's a good step right now. You know, it may not be the greatest in 2 years, 3 years from now, but that may not matter. He may be one of those guys that does.
Yeah, but I feel like in the UK, he'll get top-notch sparring, top-notch European sparring, but he won't get that Valdez and Magdaleno, Mexican, American. Well, fucking Valdez is Mexican, you know, and you need that. You need that because look at what happened to Amir Imam twice. He failed to that style. Floyd Mayweather was able to do it when Maidana brought that style of pressure. Yes, I understand he's from Argentina, but I mean that style, that boxing style. You really need to prepare for that. And I don't know that you can prepare in the UK.
No, but
and just remember, he's always got to come early now because he's got to get reacclimated to the US and that 6-hour time difference. Fucking sucks, bro.
It's 5 for New York, and that's not that bad. And he's probably going to be a New York fighter predominantly throughout his career when he's in the US.
Andrew the Beast Tabiti, who signed at TMT Promotions, Mayweather promoted fighter, he had an interview with Robert Ortiz, and he said, "Oh, you heard it, right?"
Yes. Interview.
Okay, but the fans haven't. He was specific on people fighting people in different. He said if Earl Spence would have fought Kellbrook at home, he would have beat Kellbrook in 4 rounds. Because of the time difference, it took that long. You know, it's difficult, bro. You know, that time difference is difficult. You feel totally different.
Yeah, but that's why if you're a high-level fighter, you go over like a week or 2 beforehand. Most of these guys do 2 weeks. I think Earl Spence did 2 weeks.
Still didn't look good in the first 6.
But that's because he was fighting Kellbrook. I mean, it's not. I don't think it's the time difference. That to me, that if you take the time, which is 2 weeks, is enough time to acclimate yourself to 5-hour difference or 6-hour difference. Yeah, I'm not going to use that as an excuse for fighters. You're a high-level athlete.
All right, let's speed this up. We freaking probably went longer than we should. We're doing. Actually, we have one last topic, so we're almost there. Chisora, man, I almost feel bad for Chisora. Like, it's cool for us as fight fans because it's like, oh shit, Joyce stepping it up. But yo, Chisora is like on the gatekeeper side of this right here. It's like, you know, Joyce has what, 4 fights, 5 fights? How many fights he got?
Something like that. Not a lot.
Yeah, for Chisora to take this, bro, he's got to totally. Yo, I don't even think a decision because then you'll still be like, yo, at least he went a decision with Chisora. I mean, he's on that level. He just got to tweak a few things. Like, yo, Chisora to make a statement has to knock this kid back into prospect mentality because he's a prospect trying to jump into contender status and use you as a stepping stone. I mean, he's a gatekeeper with this fight.
Yeah.
Same Josh Taylor, Carlos Molina thing, no?
No, that's Josh Kelly. Come on, Ness. I know the Joshes are hard to get.
So many Joshes, so many Taylors, so many Kellys and Kells. Speaking of Kells, breaking news. Matt is going to have to come to the U.S. or not be part of this, but my man Kell Brook wants to come and do an episode of TBV in studio in April. The end of April, he'll be in the Big Apple.
Oh, really?
And he wants to be in studio. Yeah, I had a nice chat with him. Shout out to Robert, the AP.
Whoa. I mean, you're not gonna do any air horns, Ness. We're gonna have Kell Brook in studio. Come on, Ness. I mean,
you know, we just
your game, talk your shit, Ness. Let's go.
Enrique's not here. I'm not that type of dude.
Yo, all the other podcasts out there. Shots fired. Step your game up. Anyways. That's great to hear though. Shout out to Kell Brook. I'll probably come over for that. I'll come for that if you want me to. I mean, the studio's not that big. I mean, I don't know if you want me to or not. It's up to you.
Well, I was thinking. Anyway, we'll talk off there.
That's pre-pro.
That's overtime.
Joe Joyce.
Chisora.
Or I think it screams a little bit too early, too soon because Chisora is a much better opponent than, let's say, Carlos Molina, right? If we're going to compare, let's say, Josh Kelly to Joyce.
Hell no. Chisora ain't never been a champ. Molina at least been a legitimate champ.
Okay, you're right. Good point. Who's more in there? Who's closer to their?
And Chisora, like, what's his biggest win? At least Molina has wins. Like, people legitimately thought he beat Laura.
True. Maybe in 2018. I'm not that, I don't think that highly of Carlos.
But in 2018, they both passed their prime and,
True. Yeah, but, I think heavyweights can always look better, even in old age, just because they're heavyweights. You don't need athleticism at heavyweight like you do at 147. It's just a little bit different in my opinion. But I think it's a smart move. It's calculating. If it works and he wins in decent fashion, or at least let's say better than Dylan White, it's huge. It's definitely of note and definitely to pick.
Dude, this is besides it being a very dangerous opponent for a 3-0 fighter, it's also gonna put some sort of a timeline on his career, right? Like if you beat Chisora at 3-0, like I'm really not trying to see you fight, John Doe.
No, your level of competition instantly comes up to, let's say, the Amir Mansour, Brazil's, Takam, Molina's. It instantly goes to that level. It almost
has to be there.
Now, if he was a champion, though, it's funny because then he can take a tune-up, right? Because then he can take. It's a little bit different when you're a champion and you're 40, let's say, a voluntary defense. You can take a guy outside the top 15, top 20, a little bit more, coming off of a good fight. When you're a contender, you're expected to keep fighting other contenders at that point to try to get the belt. So it's gonna be interesting.
I can't believe Georgie's still with this ridiculousness in the chat. Like,
oh, my phone died. I'm not in the chat right now. What's up?
I wish he were serious. Like, I need a tune-up. You know what I'm saying?
Georgie would die. Come on,
that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to catch a body. I'm like my boy. He will not speak of.
Yo, is that just you? Does that sound like just you?
No, you wildin'. Mr. Potter, the Browne Kovalev fight will absolutely be for Kovalev's WBO title.
Yes.
And that is all the topics we have today. So remember the number to call in. We're taking phone lines, or we're going to the phone lines right now. So what you could do is pick up the phone, call 1-425-569-5241, press 1 time to voice your opinion here on the Voice of the People hotline. Remember, you got to add Nestor Gibbs on Skype. So first, a word from our sponsors.
These calls are brought to you by El Camino Electrical Services, experts in electric vehicle charging stations. For consultations and turnkey installation, visit us at elcaminoelectricalservices.com.
Matthew, do we have any ringers or boomerangs?
No.
All right. Well, then we'll go out down the line. But those of you that do not know, head on over to patreon.com/ThaBoxingVoice to find out what cool perks you can get if you are a ringer or a boomerang. We're going to go out to the country of Canada. Our Cuban friend Alex. What's going on, Alex?
Yo, what's up, man?
How's everything, brother?
Oh, man, chilling. When I saw the title, I was wondering, what? Cole is going after heavyweight? No, that guy's fighting Dillian White. Honestly, bro, who the fuck is Browne, man? I want you to answer me that. Who is that guy Browne that he's fighting? Never heard of this guy.
Just someone climbing the ranks.
Who?
Just someone climbing the ranks.
Yeah, I never heard of this guy, man. When is he gonna? Didn't he fight a guy climbing the ranks last time? How many tune-ups does this guy get? And then people get mad at Keith Thurman for getting one tune-up.
Oh, Alex, this is not a tune-up. Marcus Browne has beaten other contenders and other undefeated fighters.
If he's so good, how come I've never seen him on TV, man? Never once.
Maybe you need to watch more boxing.
What was the last time he fought? Who did he fight? And where was it televised?
It's been on PBC, so either Showtime or NBC.
Hold on a lie.
I'm asking you. Tell me specifics. I don't remember. And I watched most fights.
Alex, I'm telling you, it's PBC, so it's either Showtime or CBS and such.
Yeah.
You're not specific when it was, or
you want me to pull up his box rec? You want me to pull it up for you and the exact date? I can do that.
Off the top of your head now, but I guess.
I mean, he fought probably 4 to 6 months ago.
I mean, he's got a good resume for a prospect.
I can't remember the last guy he fought.
No, we do know the last guy he fought. We said it.
Now you looked it up. Now you looked it up.
No, we said it when we were talking about him in the beginning of the of the show.
Alex, he fought this year. He fought on January 20th against Francis Netnu, and I believe that was on the Lamont Peterson Earl Spence card.
It was. And the 2-2 was a common opponent with David Benavidez.
Before that, he fought in July against Johnny Monahan, and before that, he fought in February against Thomas Top Dog Williams.
That's crazy, man, because I watched that fight that Lamont Peterson Earl Spence. I don't remember that fight.
Okay, then.
That's insane. Yo, so I gotta say, man, everybody that fought last night, it's bombs in my opinion, man. They all look like, even Jose Ramirez, bro. That guy, I don't know what you're talking about. He would get knocked out by even Prograis or whatever. He's nowhere near the top, man. These bacon belts, this is what happens when people vacate the belt. They give it to the first bump. Both of them sucked, man. Everybody that fought last night sucked, including Mike and Conlan. That guy got knocked by a Cuban kid who should be there, should be the headliner. But yet nobody even cares about that guy. So good, man. So good. They all bumps, and you know it.
They are.
Why you mad right now? You like nobody even cares about. First of all, that Cuban has to defect first, man. Like he's not even over here. We can't do shit. He got to jump on that raft, baby. He got to get on his speedboat.
Yes, fucking true.
Alex, man, thank you for calling in. Let's go out to the callers. We're gonna go out to some alumni.
Yo, first of all, let me say, I don't pay showtime to see you all there not even putting a goddamn motherfucking effort. If I want to see some motherfuckers just fight, I pick up a fight with somebody in the street. Don't need that shit. You don't love that sport, my dude? Just move along. Gone. Fuck you. Next, what great show. Thumbs up, donate. Yo, what's happening, people? So with this low energy, mighty wake up, body, wake up.
Okay.
So this joint right here.
You, Mr. Low Energy over here, what are you going to want to talk about?
What we got to do to make the Prograis Ramirez fight happen.
Your boy already trying to marinate that.
WBC president Mauricio Suleiman said they're going to mandate that fight.
It happened, bro. What this guy, they young, bro. These niggas, they like Wolverines out there. They make the miracle happen. You know what? These niggas already on the 30s and shit. Come on, man. Give me that shit right now. Yo. Mr. Low Energy.
You have some low energy yourself, though. So.
That's no come back. Get out of here. They have Bob Iron.
What are you smoking over there, Georgie?
Duncan sitting together. Last night, you seen Bob Iron and Duncan sitting together?
They did promote the card.
Holy shit, how could the earth have so much villainy together in one point?
Damn. And I never hit the clock on this kid. I'm going to start it now, y'all.
Bro. Stop docking me, son. The Japorji Water Wars coming for you.
You stunting. Georgie, get off the medication, B. You all right? You need help? Should we call someone?
Some Xanax over there? What are you doing, man? Come on.
Should we call someone, yo? You okay?
Listen, I'm fine, nigga. I'm enjoying life. You're always in a fucking bad mood. You're always trying to make me that what? You're gonna talk some wild nigga.
Nah, I just want you to sign up.
You're in the bad mood. You're in the bad mood, Georgie. It's okay. What are you mad about? We can be a therapist tonight.
What happened? Yo, what's going on, Puerto Rico? Puerto Rican Boxing Day.
What you mean? You had 4 Puerto Ricans fighting yesterday. You had 4 Puerto Ricans fighting yesterday. You just ain't had time.
Yeah, but Verdejo's supposed to be holding the flag for PR. What the fuck happened?
You got Pitufo Diaz for that.
Holy macaroni, man. Man, let me let you big guys. Everybody out there donate, support, enjoy Patreon. I'm outie.
How 5,000.
Georgie, because you were like asleep on that call, Georgie. That must be some good Kush or some good OG right there.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce to you a young fella, and he comes from the Magnolia.
You be with Jesus, you got your block on fire, remain in the cheese. Until the moment you expire, you know what it is. You make nothing out of something, you handle your business. You don't be crying in this something, you be with Jesus.
You shining.
What up, NO?
Man, look, what's good, man? What's good, man? Shit, bro, I'm hearing a lot of bullshit today on the show, bro. I'm hearing this marinate shit. I hate that word marinate, bro. I hate that. I hate the weight on shit, bro. I'm waiting for that shit. I'm waiting for motherfucking Canelo to get full of that dope and then fight Triple G. I had to wait for that bullshit, bro. You know what I'm saying? Wilder had to fight on T full of that dope. You dig? Just to get a fight. Cause AJ ducking the fight. Cause they want marinate shit. Man, fuck that. Man, we tired of marinate, man. The boxing boy ain't with that marinate shit. Keith Thurman, you need to scrap or drop the belt, man. Fight Spence Paul to either one of them balls, man. Scrap, man. Jesse Ball is fighting, he gotta drop down your weight to fight Berna. Who we know is a B-class fighter and never stepped up when he had to go to the next level. Scrap, man. Tired of that bullshit, man. Let's make this shit happen. Remember that need to fight Ruger Root. Get in there, handle your business, because we tired of waiting, man. That's my call.
Yo, you extra like happy with them guns today, B.
Oh, it was a slow weekend, man. I got to hype it up a little bit.
Hype it up.
I mean, at least NO came in with some energy. See, Georgie, that was energy. Take some notes.
Yeah. Let's go out to Jay, Hardcore Boxing. What up?
DC.
Hey, what's up with y'all fellas there?
What up?
Oh, good. Hey, I enjoyed that Ramirez fight last night. It was pretty good, man. I like the mental pressure he was putting out on that boy Imam. And he was even doing some nice countering. So he looked pretty good. I like to see him and Prograis get it on. I think that'd be a hell of a fight. That shit that Bob Aaron talking, though, about, you know, letting them both fight on the undercard and then maybe at the end of the year. That's some bullshit. I think they should go ahead and get that thing going on right now. Also, like about how Bud came up to Prograis, because he was the first one to say something. He came straight out with on Prograis and told me to fuck him up right off the jump. So I thought that was pretty nice. Now, I really enjoyed fighting this weekend, and I just can't wait to see some more to be action. How y'all doing?
We're doing good, brother. We're doing good, man. Happy to have you on the show as always, Jay. If that's all you got, man, what about Kovalev and Marcus Browne? Have you ever heard of Marcus Browne? We got our Cuban Canadian saying he's never heard of Marcus Browne. Have you heard of Sir Marcus?
Yeah, I heard of him. He just fought recently, put his man out. I mean, he kind of shocked. I feel, though, that he definitely ready for that next level, to be truthfully honest. I think he'll do pretty well. For sure. I like him.
So do I. Well, listen, Jay, if you ain't got nothing else, we're going to keep it moving.
Oh, yeah. It's always a pleasure, man. Y'all keep pumping that shit out.
Man, thank you, brother. You keep calling in, you hear? Matt, you know, I just want to say, I don't know if you noticed that Saddam Ali, Zachary Ochoa. Oh, you seen that?
No, I didn't. No.
Yeah, so Saddam Ali, Zachary Ochoa, Daniel Jacobs, Joe Green. Who else?
Wait, hold on. What?
And I think Marcus all sparring yesterday. Just saying. Pictures out, social media, stalk them. Keep yourself to the street, you know what I mean? For your listeners, Matt. Do it for your listeners. We're going to the East LA. Louis, what up?
Hey, what's going on?
Nothing much, Louis. What about you?
Hold on.
Mr. Speakerphone?
Hear me?
Yeah, even though you're on speakerphone.
I know. I was on I'm trying my car with my kid, so I just got the phone to make sure you guys get some good reception. Second time caller. It's been a while. I know I can hear you, so I miss you guys. The Iman Ramirez fight, great fight, awesome fight. Iman, I think he's a great fighter. Ramirez surprised me. Those like we call those whipping shots. I didn't think he was gonna catch Iman with those shots. I thought Iman was too slick for him, and Ramirez pressure, and I think Ramirez pressure, and he decided to go at him, and he was gonna get the title no matter what. He outwilled him. That's what happened. I think he outwilled him, and I'm surprised with Ramirez. I didn't think he was that good, and that's kind of crafty. I was a little bit sloppy, but he's a Olympian for a reason, and he got in. And in the end of the fight, look at both fighters' faces. I mean, it tells us the story. So I as a fan, I really enjoyed that Iman fight. I think Iman's a great fighter. He has skills. I don't know what's the future for him. I think he should just kind of take it easy, take a couple of fights. But I think he's potentially Iman is a champion. But then we have a lot of guys like Prograis. I don't know Prograis or Prograis. I don't know how to spell his name. He impressed me too. So you have Mikey, Prograis, Iman, Ramirez, a couple of other guys in the loop. So I think it's exciting. 140 is exciting. 147 is exciting. And that's all I want to say. I don't want to bore you guys. I'm not on drugs. I'm driving. So anyway, talk to you guys again. Thank you so much for taking my call.
Louis, it's all good if you're on drugs, bro. Matt smokes around.
No. Yo, when somebody just casually throws out, yo, I'm not on drugs, by the way, I instantly think you're on drugs, just so you know. Like, if a cop pulls you over and go, hey, by the way, I'm not on drugs, that cop instantly thinks you're on drugs.
For real.
Just like the king is what I mean. The king is what I mean. My man, get a cup and put some change inside your hand. Now hold up, let's make this official. Everybody, let's agree that.
Yo, CBV, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up?
What up?
Yo, last night, definitely, did we talk about Friday? Friday wasn't much on, but it was some Mexican fights on Telemundo and shit. I'm not trying to be a hipster, but
there was some Golden Boy fights too. Golden Boy, Oscar Duarte fought, and a couple of other little prospects that we need to start checking out.
That's who it was. That's who it was, Ness, that I saw. It was, pretty good. I was just watching just for shits and giggles, man. But Sir Marcus Browne out of Staten Island, New York. I mean, come on, yo. I mean, in this region, I think, wasn't he an Olympian?
Yes, he was. 2012.
Yeah, so I mean, like, at least there's a vague familiarity with him. It's definitely in the tri-state area, nationally. I mean, he fought Campillo, Gabriel Campillo, who's, he's a gatekeeper, world beater. He's a belt holder. So he's got some notches on his belt. You know what I'm saying? And for him to fight Kovalev at this rate, shit, who else is Kovalev going to fight? If he's not going to fight Adonis Stevenson or Badu Jack at this point, who else at 175? Whatever happened to fucking Joe Smith, the guy that knocked out Bernard Hopkins? Was this just a flash in the pan? What's up with this guy?
Nah, he got knocked out, bro. You got to wait that 90 days. Remember, Barrera put him to sleep.
Damn. See? And I forgot about that. I mean, all that is to say, man, I think Kovalev got it easy, man. Unless he's fighting Stevens, we don't know what's going to happen with Badu Jack. Supposing Badu Jack is the shit at 175, I don't know, but I think Kovalev's got it pretty easy. I'm not saying that it was set up this way, but I think the cards laid out right that, Ward is out the game. Marcus Browne could upset him. And I mean, if Marcus Browne upset Sergey Kovalev, yo, Sergey Kovalev is a fucking bum. He's going to get the Julius Sandano treatment from me if that motherfucker lose to Marcus Browne.
Yeah, but if you say that,
so,
then if you say that, you're taking away from Marcus Browne's win, and you're saying that Browne is nothing and shouldn't have won, and that's why you think Kovalev's a bum.
No, sir. No, sir. What I'm saying is it would be a confirmation that, and I can't blame HBO because it's not exactly that, but it would say HBO is what's my Kovalev is more. I'm off Jack and Coke, and I was smoking, fellas. Everybody's admitting their fucking drug use. These niggas calling in like, oh, I'm not getting high, whatever the fuck. Niggas snitching on themselves, got me snitching. But yo, fucking, if Kovalev loses, then he might be more HBO hype. You know what I'm saying? If Kovalev loses, not that those other wins don't count, but if Kovalev loses to Marcus Browne, that says a hell of a lot more about Marcus Browne, but it also tells us about Kovalev.
I don't know, man. You know, I'm just trying to run away from that type of logic, man. I want to be an evolved boxing fan, and I don't want to say, because I just think it belittles whatever Browne is able to accomplish if right away we say, oh, shit, Kovalev was exposed, he's a bum.
Well, we can't say that Kovalev is a bum because he's beating guys that we sort of have barometer with. So he's beat guys like Shabaransky. He's beat guys like Bernard Hopkins, even if you think Bernard Hopkins was extremely old.
And this is a skip. Browne is skipping the Shabaransky levels.
I would argue Top Dog Williams is a Shabaransky level.
Nah, man. Shabaransky's more durable. He takes more rounds, man. Top Dog is getting flattened.
But Top Dog's a better boxer. He may have
Top Dog got knocked out. You know, Top Dog got knocked out by an undefeated Mexican that they got now too, just like a week ago.
Oh, did he? That's sad, man.
About a week ago. I need that soundbite.
And he blocked me on Twitter for no reason. I searched him one day and I found I was blocked for some reason. I've never talked to him.
Everybody blocks you, man. You got to check yourself, bro. There's something wrong with you.
No, but that was like ages ago.
No, how you going to say no? It's something wrong with you. Like, you're 22 years old and everyone's blocked you?
23. But most people don't have me blocked.
Yo, next time, ride with the 22, B. When you get my age, you're going to hope people call you a couple years younger. You know what I'm saying? You're going to go out having drinks. It's shots. Anytime somebody says you're younger than what you are, you're going to have shots. Shot. Nah, I'm joking. Listen, before we go to
the next caller, I just want to say a shout out to WBO World Minimum Weight Champion Yayu Yamanaka, who beat Moises Calleros last night, and Carlos Canizales beat Reha Konishi for the WBA World Light Flyweight title. So I just want to give those guys a shout out. You can find them on YouTube if you want to see those fights.
Who the fuck is that guy?
I know no one's probably heard of them, but I watched the fights this morning. They're championship fights. The Canizales fight are two undefeated guys going at it. Good fight, competitive fight. Most people don't, but there's some people that say, hey, maybe I want to see some boxing. Two world championship fights happened last night that no one knows about.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
Yo, you're just hating.
No, my soundbites just all was on point. It was just like bam, bam, bam. I ain't even had to talk. Speaking of soundbites, that's my own soundbite right
there. What are you doing, man?
This portion of the show we call In the Know, presented by my brother.
Yo, you know it ain't no show without info. Joe, LA's finest is in the building. What up, my boxing brothers?
What up, Joe?
Ness and Matt and everybody listening and everybody in the chat. Yo, let me start off with the Amir Imam Ramirez fight. Amir Imam, man, he has a good skill set. He is a good fighter. He's just a front runner, man. I had him winning the first 4 or 5 rounds. But the guy, he just the game plan goes out of the window, man, once he gets punched in the face, man. And dudes always grind him out. Shout out to Ramirez.
Say what?
Yeah, man. But I'm picking Prograis to kick his ass. His hardest fight is going to be Mikey. as far as Marcus Browne Kovalev, that's a good fight. I'm still hot that the dude that made it look easy to beat Marcus Browne, Hot Rod, ain't fighting, man. When you go down to Florida, talk to that kid and see what's happening with him. He made it look easy when he fought Marcus Browne,
remember.
He should be in the mix, though.
Yo, remember this, man. He lives in Florida, guys. He made good money with Marcus. Then he had a return fight because the world knew he got robbed versus Travis Peterkins, and he beat him too. So then, and then he was having a kid. Like last I told you, he was having a kid. He bought a house. Like, yo, some people.
It happens, man.
Exactly. Some people are like good enough. Like, yo, I got my family. Like, I'm good. But he said he is coming back, though.
Hey. Okay, yeah, he should get back in the mix. He'll make that division a lot more interesting. That's my call. You're listening to the #1 pound for pound boxing podcast, TBV. I'm out.
Yes, thank you for calling in, Info Joe. And I just want you guys to echo Info Joe's message by dropping us that 5-star review. That 1-star really hurt me. It hurt me right here. I have my right hand on my left side, so underneath that chest plate, my heart, it hurts. It really does hurt. We need some Barry White right now. Or
I'm good.
Or we need 100K before May. You did? Come on, 100K before May. Don't forget to subscribe because I'm about to tell you we almost at like 69K. I'm telling you, we almost there. So we could definitely get to 100K before May. Right now, we are officially at 68,797. Whoa, wrong soundbite. 97. That's a lot of subs right there. So sub away, my friends. Sub away. We're going to Rod in North Carolina. Talk to us.
Rod. Hello.
And we're going to the 718. 718 in New York City. Who's this? First time caller, 718.
What's good, man? It's Yam. What's going on, baby?
Yams?
Yeah, this Yam. What's good? I was in the chat.
What's good, Yam? Talk
Mr.
to us.
Potter. I was in there yesterday in Park Hill in Staten Island. Marcus was moving with that Russian kid. That he fights with
Sergey Kovalev.
Gary Stark. Yeah, he fought last card at Barclays. They had a good session. Marcus is looking sharp. He's gonna upset Kovalev, man. You know what I'm saying? People, I don't know if y'all believe it. I believe, man. He bringing that belt home, and then he gonna unify that division, man. With me?
I hear you, but you are also with Marcus. You also with Mark. Like you was literally in the gym. You're privy.
I ain't with nobody. I'm not with nobody.
You just said you was in the gym. You got to see it.
Now with him, I go to the gym. But you're right. I'm biased, but fuck it. He's still gonna win. He gonna unify that whole shit. He gonna beat fucking all these motherfuckers. They're gonna fight at Barclays, big 175 unification. It's gonna get live in that division. There's a lot of good fights, man. Badu Jack. I could see like a big unification. What you think? Talk to me, man.
Nah, I mean, it sounds like music to my ears. If Marcus is able to bring that WBO, I mean, dude, there's not very many WBO Al Heyman champions. So if he could do that,
right?
If he could do that and bring that back, he automatically has a unification with Adonis or Badu Jack with
right,
him.
With Al Heyman. With Al Heyman. You know what I mean? They're all with Heyman, so I'm thinking like they with Heyman, so I'm thinking like this could really happen. And then at the end, you got Stevenson with Heyman. You know what I mean? And I even picture a Danny Jacobs fight down the road. I don't know if you with me on that. Is that a possibility?
I don't see that as a possibility because Gary Starks and Andre Rozier, they're very they're in each other's corners. If you look at Marcus's Brown. Yeah, if you look at Marcus Browne last post, What's this kid's name? Damn, I just interviewed him at Barclays. Yo.
Sugar Bear.
Yeah,
Sugar Bear, right?
Yeah, the one that had the draw versus Ronald Ellis.
They had the draw. Sugar Bear.
Yeah, his father, Gary Starks and Dre always in Marcus's corner. So
yeah,
be tough.
They was
for
over there
Daniel.
yesterday.
No, I know, man. I was invited. I feel like an idiot that I didn't go, bro. Now that I see, after
you was invited. Oh man,
I know. After I seen the picture, I was kicking myself. When I seen the picture, I said, "Holy shit!" Because he told me, see, I know all those people's gonna be there. When I hit him, he's like, "Nah, it's just gonna be so and so and so." I'm like, "Oh, why?"
It wasn't that crowded.
No, I know, but
He don't let anybody in the gym. He won't let your host in the gym. We don't trust him.
Oh shit!
We all blocked him.
Oh shit! They don't want Matt in the gym.
No, I'm just fucking with you, man.
I've been with Stark.
Matt kidding me.
No, that is true. Actually, Matt was at Matt met Gary Starks over here. Gary Starks was actually in our gym using it for sparring one day.
Mm-hmm.
I saw Browne spar numerous times at that time.
Yam, thanks for calling in, my friend. We're gonna keep these phone lines moving. We got some more alumni calls. We're taking it back.
I got you stuck off the realness. We be the infamous. You heard of us? Official Queensbridge murderers.
QB, what it do?
Yeah, what up, Nestor? Yeah, what up, you guys? What's going on, man? That was an excellent fight. An excellent fight last night, man. Amir Imam, he can't take the pressure, man. He can't take it, man. His game plan went out the door once he got hit, man. He should have kept on boxing him. He was doing good boxing. That pressure, though. That pressure was too much for him and stuff like that. But Ramirez, he's not going to be able to. That's a good fight with him and Mikey Garcia, but Robert Garcia said they seen him tight. They won't ever fight or whatever. In the interview, I was watching the interview, said that.
Yeah, Robert said he won't let that happen.
Right. And Verdejo got killed yesterday. What's wrong with Neil, man? Another, stop him. I couldn't believe that fight either. Stop him. And, Marcus Browne, that's a good look for him, man. But I wonder if he's going to take a page out of Andre Ward's foot and fight inside or what. I don't know.
Well, I mean, the quote that he gave our reporter was, I'm going to bully the bully. So he's definitely coming at Crusher Kovalev. And the game plan is out. Let's be honest. You know what I mean?
Right. And if he loses the game on HBO, what are you going to be a gatekeeper? What's going to happen? I got to stay tuned for that. That's going to be something big.
I mean, I don't think that Kovalev's career would be over, bro, after one loss. I mean, another loss, because it's like, you lost to a pound for pound, and we got plenty of guys out here with 3 and 4 losses. Kovalev becomes another name on Bivol or Godcheck's resume or any other up and coming. That's the way the cookie crumbles when you lose that title. QB, thanks for calling in, my friend. Matt, it's wrap up season over here, as we say in the podcast game. It's time to go. Final thoughts, my friend. Oh, went with the classic this time, Matt. What you know about the classic?
Well, the classic is my favorite, of course.
Why are you disrespecting Dollar?
Been outro for almost as long as I've been listening to the show, which is years at this point, let alone working for the show or on the show. So always get nostalgic about it. Always remember good times, good fights, good immediate reaction shows. Always remember the good times. Even though we're gonna have better times in the future.
But times I'll be on your side forevermore.
Let's just never do that again, Ness. Please, for the caller's sake and the listener's sake. But Kovalev Browne, amazing fight. I know some people like Alex from Cuba/Canada may not know who Marcus Browne is. Go look him up. You're going to be entertained. You're going to like what you see. You're going to see a great prospect/contender, a guy that PBC has been trying to push for a while that obviously you may not know and some people may not know. But if he beats Kovalev, everyone will know him in boxing. They will. He will be instantly.
Bro, and he's got the story, too.
Yes, he does. He's active on social media. He understands the modern game of promoting a fight.
Teddy Atlas loves him.
Yeah, Teddy Atlas loves him.
He trains out of the Atlas Cops and Kids. He's one of the spokespersons.
Yes, he is. And I think he could be a potential guy in the division that holds it down for a while. So definitely something to watch and definitely a fight to watch. Top Rank, I think it was
in New York as well.
Yes, and I think Top Rank's card on ESPN yesterday wasn't great, wasn't amazing. The main event was a good fight. The guys they wanted to get wins, most of them got wins. One of them didn't. It is what it is. I thought it was overall a decent card. Nothing of super nuts. Not something we're gonna remember maybe in 2 years from now, but a decent card that was on paper. And we had obviously other fights overseas. Joyce, the fights in Japan. Go check them out if you haven't yet. They're probably on YouTube. Trust me. I'm at Hipster. You can find me at Mixed Combat News on Twitter, at Mount TV, on Instagram, and my MMA podcast, Mixed Combat Radios on Patreon, SoundCloud, YouTube, iTunes, etc. Peace.
I don't know if I gave my final thoughts, so I'll give them again. I remember when Al Heyman and Richard Schaefer and everybody did what they did, and boxing got upset because of the split. It always meant a better day for boxing fans, and I think we're here now, where we're getting consistently good fights and we're getting good cards. And I think that this weekend was an indication of that. It was a decent card. Some developmental fights took place. Some necessary eliminators, because I believe Alexander was in an eliminator. Got check. And we got to see some talent. We seen someone that one of our listeners, I can't believe he didn't call in. We should freaking text him and see he's okay, because Lemon didn't call in to talk about Ramirez on his biggest night.
Yo, I'm honestly worried.
Yeah, because I know that Ramirez was having a homecoming at 6:30 your time. What time is it over there now?
It is 6 o'clock.
6:30, he lands in Fresno. And I guess they're doing, they treat him like Pacquiao over there in that little side of town. Anyway, yeah, final thoughts, man. I'm just happy to have an ESPN card like this. I started all this to say that, the hoopla with Heyman and Golden Boy and Schaefer, it calls everyone to get on their A game and give us the best that they could put on. Bob Arum's quarrel with HBO has proved fruitful for the boxing fan. It's given everyone their separate network to use as a developmental platform and then catapult into some sort of stardom or merging fight with other promoters and, companies. That being said, I did enjoy the fights. I am your host, Nestor Gibbs. Find me on Instagram and Twitter at NestGTO. Peace.
I'm so happy now. You have no idea.